Welcome back to the Hoodni's Fantasy Football Podcast. This is episode 41, Week 9 preview, part 2. I got my dog with me over here, BBTB.
Yes, sir, bro. They kicked me out the last video, so I got to kick him and be out of this video, bro. Come on now.
Yeah, no MFB. MFB is in another blender, and that'll happen throughout the year. So actually, we replaced MFB. It's going to be BBTB going forward. We are taking applications for the third Hoodni. If you'd like to join, please reach out to me directly. My cell number is in the description below. So hit me up, send me a text. Let me know why you should be a Hoodni.
Anyways. Is that the same thing that you said when I was gone? Or
no, we said Indeed.com for you. But yeah.
Okay.
Official job posting, you know?
Yeah.
We're going to start off Raiders, Bengals. And we're going to speed run through this, guys, because these episodes are getting kind of long. And I know you guys have been asking for us to shorten them. So just for you viewers, we're going to try and shorten this episode or these episodes. But let's get started. On the Las Vegas side of the ball, basically, you're just going to start. I mean, Brock Bowers' auto start. Jacoby Myers did well, even against a tough Kansas City defense in a divisional matchup. He got a touchdown, 6 receptions on 7 targets, 52 yards. And he looked good. He had a lot of energy in that game. Every time he made a catch, he was talking smack. He was celebrating, getting excited, getting hyped. And you like to see that out of their number one there.
And the Bengals secondary didn't look that good against the Eagles. I know the Eagles are currently a high-powered offense, but the Raiders can move the ball a little bit too, so I think Jacoby Myers could be a solid flex.
Yeah, Alexander Madison, who, was very inefficient last week against Kansas City, got absolutely stuffed on the ground, but through the air, he had 5 receptions on 5 targets for 29 yards. He had a very mediocre fantasy day, but not low enough to be in the duds list. So, he did okay. He's the clear number one. You're not starting Zamir White. We talked about him before. He's droppable. Alexander Madison, how do you expect him to produce in this game?
If the Raiders can move the ball down the field through the air, I feel like he could possibly get in the end zone. So it's the Raiders, but pretty much if you start Madison's kind of like a boomer bust kind of play. And if you need that kind of player, I feel like Madison is a boomer bust for this week. So
I think Madison has a decent floor. He's not gotten less than 6 fantasy points in half PPR, even against Cleveland, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Kansas City.
I'd low-key take that as a flex, like with the potential of him getting an extra 6 to 8 points. Like I'd take that for a flex option.
Yeah, he's got a decent floor, and his ceiling is not very high, but I think he can still have a decent game against Cincinnati. If he gets in the end zone, you're happy. If he doesn't, it's whatever.
Yeah.
On the Bengals side, Joe Burrow has been okay. T. Higgins did not practice due to a quad injury. Today's Wednesday, so ultimately just kind of depends on if he can get out there. I like Joe Burrow if T. Higgins plays. If T. Higgins doesn't play, Joe Burrow is kind of a risky start.
I personally would start everyone besides obviously the tight end. I'm going to go.
Sorry, what do you do with Chase Brown, Zach Moss?
Start Chase Brown. Honestly, I feel like this should be a field day for the Bengals offensively, so they could both do some damage. So obviously Chase Brown is the clear RB1 right now so far, 8 weeks into the season, going into week 9. So obviously you're going to start Chase Brown. If you need a boomer bust play from Zach Moss, I think you could flex him too, man. I feel like he could possibly get in the end zone. And if T. Higgins is out too, like that can also give him some plays. Towards that. So, yeah.
Jamar Chase has been great this year. He's had a couple of only like one real dud games, but his floor is pretty decent, and his ceiling is, through the roof.
Yeah.
So you're starting Jamar Chase with confidence. If T. Higgins is back, you start him. He's definitely a decent option and has been great in the last 3 games that he was playing. And that's about it. Anything else for these guys?
No, chilling.
All right. Broncos, Ravens. Broncos side, who do you start? We talked about Cortland Sutton in our starts and sits. Do you start anyone outside of Cortland Sutton in the receivers?
In the receivers, no. But
Okay.
honestly, this might be a crazy take. And I tell Kim I like to have a crazy take every single episode in the previews. I think Bo Nix is gonna produce. I think you could stream Bo Nix. I feel like he's gonna find the ball to his receivers. I feel like he's gonna use his legs a lot. He's gonna, screen passes to the RBs. And I feel like the Ravens get scored on, So I feel like Bo Nix should have a decent game. So that's my wild take. I feel like Bo Nix will be solid.
Okay. Not too wild. The Ravens have been able to be thrown on a lot. So that it's not a wild take, and I'm not gonna make a face about this one. I'm not gonna give you any crap. I'll let this one go.
Perfect.
Javonte, he was my RB sit of the week. I just don't feel comfortable starting him against this tough Ravens run defense, man. And
yeah,
he's so back and forth. He's like Ramondre almost, in that like he'll have a good game and then like a whatever game, and then a good game, then whatever. So I'm looking for an alternative start outside of Javonte if I can find it. If you can't find it, you hope that he's got good volume. He's getting a majority of the rush shares. Last week, McLaughlin stole a touchdown. He was the running back in that play, and they threw it to him, and he scored a 9-yard touchdown on the goal line. So you hope that he gets the touchdown. You hope that they're on the one, they give it to him, and he can punch it in. He has gotten stuffed a couple times this season. So,
do you feel like Alexander Madison or Javonte Williams?
I'm more comfortable with Madison than I am with Javonte. I'll be honest. Javonte can. I'm not saying he can't do it, but he hasn't looked that good outside of the New Orleans Saints game. And
true.
He's been like very mediocre outside of that. I mean, he did decent against the Chargers. He got a touchdown. Or sorry, I'm wrong player.
Yeah.
Against the it was the Jets. He had a decent game. He had 16 attempts, 77 yards on the ground. But other than that, he's been kind of whatever. On the other side, Deontay Johnson for the Ravens just got traded earlier this week. Do you start Deontay Johnson?
I'm gonna go with maybe another wild take, but I don't think you start a Ravens receiver or tight end. Wow. I feel like this is gonna be a very run heavy game. Like I just like I don't feel like it's really risky. Like, oh, who's gonna go crazy? Deontay, Zay, Bateman, Mark Andrews, likely. Like there's so many mouths to feed but obviously running back, the main man, Derrick Henry, you're going to give that man 15 to 20 touches, so he's going to have his game. Broncos has a great passing defense, so they could lock that up, so if that's not working, feed the king, feed the 6'2", 250 freaking monster. So I wouldn't start a Ravens receiver or tight end.
Yeah, Pat Surtain has been probably the best corner in the league. So you don't want your receiver to be lined up against him. That's about it. It's pretty straightforward on the Ravens side. On to the Bears versus the Cardinals. Game of the week. Arizona Cardinals coming off a nice win against Miami.
Not the Bears, though.
The Bears, oh, man.
Not the Bears, though.
Poverty franchise, just like the Cardinals, admittedly.
That's probably the worst way to lose, man. Hail Mary.
Off a Hail Mary. And the defender had a hand on the ball. That's the worst part. He tipped it, and Noah Brown caught it on the Washington Commanders last week. So that was, man, crazy. Sad day for Bears fans. On the Bears side, which of these receivers do you start? None of them produced last week. You had DJ Moore with 2 receptions on 4 targets for 27 yards. You had Keenan Allen with 7 targets, 2 receptions, 39 yards. And you had Rome Odunze with 3 receptions on 6 targets, 41 yards.
So I think I could confidently start DJ Moore because the Cardinals defense isn't the best. And I feel like Caleb Williams needs to have a bounce back game. He needs to just, last week wasn't very inaccurate with his throws. So I feel like DJ Moore should be a confident start. My other receiver you could say could be probably Keenan Allen.
Okay.
I think Keenan Allen had like a crazy game last year against the Cardinals when he was on the Chargers. I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago.
You're the historian, bro. I always bring up, oh, bro, like 2 years ago, he did great against.
Hey, brother Kelsey. Look, I said that about Kelsey 2 years ago, and he did it again. So you never know.
All right.
So it's just one of those two that I feel like DJ Moore for sure, and the second option would be Keenan Allen.
I like Keenan Allen more than DJ Moore. I don't know. I just don't think. I don't know. I think in this matchup, it's gonna be tougher for DJ Moore. I think they kind of just Keenan Allen plays out the slot, right? I think they just.
I don't know. I forgot. I'm blanking because I feel like he switched with Rome Odunze a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he gets enough targets to volume his way into a decent game. We're hoping Caleb Williams can bounce back. I think Arizona's been not too good against quarterbacks, so maybe he has a serviceable game. But I think it's kind of a toss-up with these receivers, honestly, the more I think about it.
Yeah. But hey,
tight end as well.
Start Swift.
Start DeAndre Swift. He's probably the best player right now on this team to start. He's been killing it the last few weeks. He's had great fantasy performances. A touchdown every week. The last 4 starts he had, the last 4 games they played. So he's been killing it. On the other side, the Cardinals, Kyler Murray did decent against the Chargers. He had that nice rush touchdown. And then also against Miami, he did 300 yards, 307 yards, 2 passing touchdowns. So a very fine game overall.
Mm-hmm.
And we're hoping to see more of Marvin Harrison Jr., who had a very good game last week, 6 receptions on 7 targets, 111 yards and a touchdown. We're hoping he does it again. Against a tough Chicago defense, we'll have to wait and see. But you're starting Marvin Harrison, you're starting Trey McBride, you're starting James Conner. Outside of that, everyone else is a sit.
Yeah.
Yeah, against a tough Chicago defense, it's pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing else for these guys. That's about it.
Yeah.
On to the next matchup. Jaguars are playing the Eagles. Bro. Good luck to the Jaguars, man.
Yeah. I'm personally, I don't even think you start a Jaguar.
Really?
I don't even think you start Bigsby.
Oh, Bigsby's gonna be tough, man.
Like,
if Etienne's playing, good luck, man.
Yeah, like I don't, man, the Eagles look good right now, man. Off that bye week. Very hot team in football.
Dude, after getting back AJ Brown, and then they missed what's his name? Devonta Smith for a week because of a concussion. He got concussed.
Yeah.
They missed him for a week.
And they also have Go Dirt.
Even Goddard's been out the last 2 weeks, and they've still been I think he's been out, or he was out in Cleveland. He left the game pretty early on, only had 1 target. And they still beat Cleveland, beat the Giants, beat Cincinnati, destroyed the Giants, actually, and actually also kind of destroyed the Bengals. Jalen Hurts, tush push is in full force. He had 2 tush pushes last week.
Yeah.
He had 1 rush touchdown. It was like 3 or 4 yards out. 236 passing yards and a passing touchdown. We mentioned it before. You start your QB against Jacksonville.
The only thing I possibly say is I might be worried about a blowout. That's the only thing I'm worried about fantasy-wise.
Yeah, they just completely shut down Jacksonville, and then Jalen Hurts, by the 3rd quarter, the game is over, and they just sit him.
Yeah, like just no need. You're up by 3-4 touchdowns. Like, what's the point? So like hopefully, like he did his thing. So
hopefully he does enough, and that ends up being the case. Yeah. For fantasy, that would be the only concern, right? Saquon has been great against a soft Jacksonville run defense. Plug and play, obviously. AJ Brown, plug and play. Devonta Smith, plug and play. If Dallas Goedert's back, do you plug him in?
Yeah. I do.
In a game with a bad defense, you want any option you can get. On the other side, if Brian Thomas plays, I think he can volume himself into a serviceable game. I'm not going to lie. I think Brian Thomas is startable. And I will add Parker Washington. You sit him this week and you see what he does.
Yeah. And
Just
was
pure
Gabe
volume.
Davis your starter at the start of the week or your sit of the week?
Sit of the week. He has
Sit of the
less
week,
than 50% catch rate. Like, bro, what? How are you not
yeah.
catching half of the passes that come your way? That's crazy.
That's
In the
crazy.
NFL. Yeah, terrible. Gabe Davis is kind of like he could any week have that week where he just goes crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So you just never know with him. He's dealing with shoulder injury. Like I'm not trying to.
But yeah, I'm not
trying to
risking that, and I just don't feel like this is the week either that he goes crazy. Eagles look
Yeah,
good, man.
I
Those,
think you can start Evan Ingram as your tight end. BBTB doesn't think so. I think he's tight end sit of the week. You can make that decision. Ask us in the Discord, guys. Reach out to us if you have other options. Let us know. We'll give you better options, or we'll tell you who to start versus these other guys. That's it for this matchup, or for that matchup. Rams versus Seahawks, divisional game. Let's hope DK is back. That'll make the game a lot more fun. On the Seattle side of the ball, you start DK. We've seen the Rams give up a lot of points in the air. Do you start Lockett or JSN?
I think you could start Lockett or JSN.
Okay.
But dang, that's a tough one.
Yeah, Lockett was underwhelming. I mean, against Buffalo last week was tough, but he was underwhelming even with no DK. JSN did enough last week to be. I think you can start JSN. This matchup. I think you can flex. I mean, they're both kind of flexible. JSN and Tyler Lockett, I think.
Yeah, I mean they should see the volume because who else? You got Jake Bobo there, you got Noah Fant, but at the same time, it's like those are the guys that should see the targets. So
yeah,
I don't know, man. I like you want DK to kind of play. Like now that I realize
you kind of need him to play, man.
Yeah,
it opens up the passing options. He didn't practice Wednesday. The coach said that he's optimistic that he'll return to practice on Thursday, and he's also optimistic that he'll play in the game on Sunday.
Yeah.
If DK doesn't play, man, I still think Lockett and JSN can volume their way to like decent fantasy performances, more in the flex range. Noah Fant, Rams have not been very good against tight ends. Streaming option, but I would probably try to look elsewhere if I can. Are you willing to stream Geno Smith this week?
No.
Even if DK's back?
That's a different story.
Okay. DK plays, are you willing to?
No, just because I feel like there's other streamable options than Geno. I don't want to take that risk, even though that we've been saying this is a divisional game. Divisional games go back and forth. I don't want to put my faith into Geno this week.
Geno Smith or Joe Flacco, the new starter for the Colts against Minnesota.
I'd probably go Flacco.
Okay. All right. I'm not mad at it.
And then on the other side of the ball, I'd go Matthew Stafford. That's my start of the week.
Yeah, Matthew Stafford with his full weapon core
lineup.
You got Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua back, locked into your lineups. Yeah. Kyren Williams locked into your lineup. The only thing I could see that would not be good for Matt Stafford is if the touchdowns go to Kyren Williams. If he takes the touchdowns and then he doesn't get throwing touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, Kyren's gonna get one touchdown for sure. Could be throwing, could be rushing. Don't get me wrong, but he's gonna get one for sure. So let's just hope that's a throwing touchdown. But more than likely, it's not.
I'm not worried about his production. I'm worried about Matthew Stafford just not getting enough work, especially if DK doesn't play and the Seahawks are kind of not able to keep up and they just start running the ball. Cooper Kupp had 8 targets, 5 receptions last week, and a touchdown, 51 yards. Puka, all over the place. 9 targets, 7 receptions, 106 yards. Did his thing.
Bro, he did that in 45% snap share. Every play that he was pretty much in, he pretty much did his thing.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me. And he wasn't even in the game as much, but he looked like he was in the game hella, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, he's back and looking good, which is, I mean, people drafted him early, like end of the No, beginning of the second round. He was
Beginning
going
of second.
beginning to
Second.
middle of the second round. I avoided him because he had some knee injury, so I didn't
I did
take him
too.
because he was dealing with a knee injury. But dude, if you were able to get Puka, because he was out for a long time, man.
6 weeks, 7 weeks.
Yeah, 6 weeks including the bye. But
Yeah,
missing that time, if you're a Puka manager, you likely needed production elsewhere, and if you traded him away for some decent value, if you picked him up, man, good for you.
yeah,
But that's it. No one else on the Rams that you want to touch.
yeah. That's pretty much it.
On to the next one. Lions Packers divisional game. Let's start with the Green Bay Packers because Jordan Love is dealing with a groin strain, and they're saying it's who believes, I don't know. They believe that it's realistic for him to play Sunday against the Lions. Ryan Wood of USA Today reports. Good for Ryan Wood.
Mm-hmm. If Jordan Love plays and he plays through the entire game, this can be a really good matchup. And divisional game, so they're fighting for that top spot in their division. So you could start Romeo Dobbs, Jaden Reed, Josh Jacobs. If
So
Jordan,
can you rank the receivers? Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs, Dontavian Wicks. How do you rank them?
I'd probably go Romeo Dobbs at the 1.
Okay.
Jaden Reed at the 2, Tucker Kraft at the 3, Wicks at the 4, Watson at the 5.
I like that. I was talking about just receivers, but I do agree. Tucker Kraft slides right into third place.
Yeah.
But in this offense, you can't. I think after Tucker Kraft, you can't really trust Watson or Dontavian Wicks. They can have their games. They can also just give you their floors are really low.
Yeah, but also you have to remember that's
that.
if Jordan Love plays. Jordan Love plays, I don't even think you even start a receiver because that Lions defense
If
has
Jordan Love
been.
doesn't play, you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
If
If Jordan
Malik
Love
Willis
doesn't
plays,
play,
yeah.
I don't even think you even start Josh Jacobs against that Lions defense if Jordan Love doesn't play.
Yeah, the Detroit Lions have been able to be thrown on. They have
But
no
brother, it's Malik Willis, man. Like I don't know, man. I don't. Even though Malik Willis did solid once he was in for like a couple weeks against I think Indianapolis and another team. It's the Lions though. Lions are, I think, top 3 right now in the NFL, top 5. So
they're up there. Yeah, that offense is firing on all cylinders. I think they're 6-1 right now.
yeah, and also the defense, brother. The defense literally they let up like 2 touchdowns last week, but it was like shitty time touchdowns to the Tennessee Titans. So like
they won like crazy. It was
and they dropped 52 points. Like it's
insane.
Yeah,
they sat everyone by like third quarter. I think like end of the third quarter.
Yeah, Jared Goff had 88, I think, passing yards or something, 84, 88, something like that.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. So,
Jared Goff didn't practice due to an ankle issue, sore ankle on Wednesday. Maybe just more maintenance related. Keep an eye out.
Yeah, he ain't gonna play.
You mean he is gonna play?
Oh yeah, he is gonna play. My fault.
Yeah,
I was gonna say I don't think you start him though this week because if Jordan Love doesn't play and Malik Willis is the guy, Lions blow that team out. I don't think Goff will produce. I think you should go with a streamable option like Matthew Stafford, like Kirk Cousins, like
what
the
if
Bo
Jordan
Nix.
Love plays? If
I feel like yes, I feel then I feel like you could play Jared Goff because it'll be more of a competitive game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, all the offense you start Jahmyr Gibbs, you start
Everyone.
Montgomery, Amon-Ra,
No brainer.
Laporta, you start. Do you consider Tim Patrick the second receiver on that team?
No.
Or Khalif Raymond, who had a return touchdown last week and also a passing touchdown I think he caught.
I don't know. I mean, I don't trust Dan Campbell with those guys because he'd be doing the craziest kind of plays.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't do those two.
Don't look past Sam Laporta, Montgomery, Amon-Ra, and Jahmyr Gibbs. I know we're trying to go quick, but Sam Laporta, do you try to find another option or do you try to play him in this game?
You play him. I feel like last week I called out Sam Laporta doing solid. I feel like going on for the rest of the season, like they saw his worth, and I feel like Sam Laporta is still going to be solid.
I mean, you'd think they'd have seen his worth last season, right? It
100%.
was National Tight Ends Day. All the tight ends kind of blew up last week. He had a touchdown taken off the board as well last week.
Mm-hmm.
That may have been a product of the whole National Tight Ends Day thing. If he does it again, I feel more comfortable with him. If he doesn't, man, he's just been so not hard to trust. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But because I think I was asked a question last week, would I start Kate Otten over Sam Laporta?
I think you said that earlier in the other episode we recorded.
Was it earlier in the? Are you sure?
Maybe.
Because I remember last week we were talking about Kate Otten, and I chose. I think I even though I think I said Laporta's going to go nuts, I felt like Kate Otten was also a great start this week too. But this week, since the Chiefs are a really good defense, I would take Laporta over Otten.
I think the Chiefs have given up a lot of points to tight end. I think you start Otten over
Laporta.
Sam Laporta. If you have Otten, you have Sam Laporta. In my opinion, you start Kate Otten. He's just getting too much.
That is true. Yeah. Low-key thinking about it now. But that's if, remember, if Malik Willis plays, just hope that it's not a complete blowout. Like if Malik Willis is playing for the Packers, start Kate Otten. If Jordan Love is playing, it's kind of up in the air. And Kimo, I think, is leaning towards Otten. I'm slightly leaning towards Laporta, but I feel like it's pretty close.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see next week. On to the Colts versus the Vikings. Sunday Night Football. Joe Flacco, baby. He's in.
Yeah.
Richardson benched, which is...
Thank God.
It may... So, Joe Flacco's been slanging it, man. And so, it may not necessarily be a bad thing for a second year who only played 5 games last year. I think he got injured in the 6th game or injured in the 5th game last year.
Mm-hmm.
Has not been very accurate, has not been good at throwing the ball, which is what you want your quarterback to do. Maybe having him sit behind Joe Flacco and just learning from him and studying him and how he plays. And if he can learn anything from him, he can actually end up being a more dependable quarterback, a more accurate quarterback, and just I'm
That's so true. Because,
but I don't know how much you can learn. And we saw Jordan Love sit behind Aaron Rodgers for.
I was just about to say that. Literally about to say that. And look at him just going nuts. Mm-hmm.
And so sitting behind a really good quarterback may actually benefit him.
100%. And it's just that discipline too. Like just really understanding that role as a quarterback, what you're really looking for. Because Richardson right now is just all over the place and Flacco's not, you know what I'm saying? So if he learns from Flacco, he can turn into the Jordan Love. He can turn into, I don't know, Brock Purdy or something, you know.
I mean, with the rushing upside, he would be, a great fantasy.
Oh, Lamar 2.0.
There you go. Yeah.
Like imagine like Lamar 2.0, you know?
Lamar 0.2, bro. Lamar is kind of next level. I don't know if he's up there. Jonathan Taylor, MFB's sit of the week.
Crazy.
You start him in this
Do
game,
not
bro.
sit Jonathan Taylor.
Look, if MFB hits on this, guys, if you listen to the starts and sits of the week episode we put, in that episode we talk about who to start, who to sit. MFB said to sit Jonathan Taylor this week. I think he meant it more of like he's not gonna perform as much as we might think this week.
He said specifically that he's gonna get a single digit point production. So like 7, 8, 9 point fantasy points.
He's basically saying he's not getting in the end zone. So I don't know if I believe it. You have Jonathan Taylor. Start Jonathan Taylor.
Start Jonathan Taylor.
Other than that, Josh Downs and Michael Pittman are both in play, man. With Joe Flacco at quarterback, both those guys.
Yeah. This should be a really good Sunday night game, fantasy wise.
Yeah.
It should go back
Lots
and
of
forth.
Points.
Yeah.
You're probably going to expect Josh Downs to go crazy. He's dealing with a toe injury or a toe issue. It might just be maintenance. He didn't practice on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Pittman has been not good. He had 6 targets last week, 1 reception. That may have been a production of or a product of Anthony Richardson with Joe Flacco there against this Minnesota defense that's been allowing a lot of yards in the air. I think he should be good to go. Or at least a decent flex option. Josh Downs has up to wide receiver 2 range of value in this game, especially with Joe Flacco at quarterback.
Could be high wide receiver 2.
dude, he gets upgraded from flex to wide receiver 2 immediately with Joe Flacco.
Mm-hmm.
But that offense is pretty straightforward. It's those three guys. I mean, well, you could stream Joe Flacco, but then other than that, Jonathan Taylor, Josh Downs, Mike Pittman, Alec Pierce might have like a big play or two, and he might be worth something. But I would look elsewhere.
Yeah.
He's like a desperation flex play. On the Vikings side, Sam Darnold, streamable. He's been
Start
this
everyone.
year.
That's how I see it. Start everyone.
Sunday Night Football primetime game. Justin Jefferson, obviously. Aaron Jones, obviously. Jordan Addison, is that obvious to you?
I think you could flex Addison.
So they're getting TJ Hawkinson back. He had a full practice on Wednesday. Do you think that hurts or helps Addison?
Low key, I think it hurts him just a little bit. But I think Addison
could it hurt him. He's been kind of mediocre.
No, I'm just saying just because Hawkinson can be getting more targets because I think MFB told us that there's no snap count for TJ Hawkinson in this upcoming game. So if there's no snap count, Hawkinson could be in the game for majority of the time. But I think Addison was very upset because he was not getting the ball last week versus the Rams.
So we've talked about this before. When players complain about their role in the offense, they usually tend to see an uptick in targets and like production. So I think Addison might be a low end flex play here.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like you could start everyone, like the main guys.
Okay. Sorry. I thought you were going the other way. I thought you were saying like, oh no, he complained and blah, blah, blah. He's not.
No.
Happy. And okay. You're saying that he's going to bounce back.
He's due. Yeah, he's due.
All right. No, I agree. Definitely, especially if he complained. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
We have a stat here. MFB put some stats in here for us, even though he's not here. He's still doing his job. Josh Downs is averaging 19 points per game in the 3 games with Flacco. This is against Pittsburgh and Tennessee defense, which were great defenses. And he leads NFL in separation score. So some good stat. Josh Downs is a good play this week, man. Especially, I mean, he's dealing with some toe thing. It should be fine. He should play.
Yeah.
On to the Monday Night Football matchup, Bucks Chiefs. This is going to be interesting because MLB was saying
he's fading the Bucks. Basically fading the Bucks.
He said the Bucks are going to shut down. It's raining, I think, or some chance of rain. 72% chance of rain. Hopefully it doesn't rain, man. It always ruins the game.
It does ruin the game. But he's fading the running backs.
He's fading Baker Mayfield.
He's fading Baker, Bucky, and Rachaad White.
Yeah, so that's
crazy.
If the Kansas City has been really good at stopping the run.
That is true.
If I have Rachaad White or Bucky Irving, I'm trying to find someone else to start this week.
That is true, but on MFB's Baker Mayfield, like the number 2 ranked quarterback in fantasy, I feel like he's going to find a way to get his points.
Yeah, like some garbage time, even at worst.
Exactly.
Some garbage time points, just slanging it.
Yeah.
Kadon, you start him if you have him.
Yes.
The city has been very bad at stopping tight ends. That's pretty much the only position they're allowing points to. Everyone else, it's tougher. I would probably not try to start Jalen McMillan. He might give you some garbage time points.
Yeah.
Or Sterling Shepard, Trey Palmer. I kind of avoid these guys. Kadon's my only comfortable start.
Yeah, same.
The running backs, they can get some receiving work too. So they could find the end zone just off of like a reception. But in terms of just rushing, I'd try to look to start someone else. I'd look elsewhere for a start in running back.
Yeah.
MFB's sit of the week for QB was Baker Mayfield's bonus sit or something, whatever. I think he's streamable though this week. The number 2 quarterback, like BBTB said, I think he could be fine.
Same.
On the other side, Kansas City Chiefs, who have not lost the game this season, all thanks to the refs, week in and week out.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay has been the number 1 team to throw on for, it's been the number 1 matchup for quarterbacks this season.
Yeah.
Is this a good game for Patrick Mahomes? Because people drafted him early. They want to start him. They've not been able to. Do you start Patrick Mahomes this week?
This is Patrick Mahomes' game to break 20 fantasy points. I think this is Patrick Mahomes' game. 250 plus yards, 3 touchdowns. This is the maybe couple rushing yards a little here and there. But
yeah. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was literally, I feel like Patrick Mahomes, but he's got to throw the ball to someone. And I think Kelsey's back, man. I feel like Kelsey's back.
Kelsey's been good the last few weeks. He had a bad week against the Niners, but Chargers, he scored 12.4 fantasy points in half PPR. 10 targets against the Saints, scored about 11.5 fantasy points. Last week got a touchdown, 12 targets, 10 receptions, 90 yards against the Vegas Raiders in a divisional matchup. He's been good. The Bucs have also not been good at stopping tight ends, so I think he can have a game on a prime time.
I think MVP starts was Xavier Worthy, by the way, too.
Yeah, his bonus start of the week, Xavier Worthy. Do you start D-Hop this week?
I think you could start D-Hop this week. I feel like he's finally got the plays down. Last week, I faded D-Hop, and I was right. I feel like this is the time where you could start D-Hop, and I think he could possibly produce.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Worthy and D-Hop both kind of in the flex range, you say?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
The only worry I might be, by the way, I just thought about this, is Juju Smith-Schuster. Is he playing?
Right now, there's no reports on him. It's a Monday night game, so they haven't practiced yet. They practice tomorrow morning.
Hamstring questionable. Probably not projected 4 fantasy points, which is actually crazy. But don't worry about Juju. But I think you play D-Hop and Worthy.
He was ruled out pretty early on. He got ruled out on Monday last week.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so they ruled him out pretty early on. Andy Reid said he's not playing. So I think he's still dealing with that hamstring, and I think it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Bad enough that he was ruled out that early in the week. So we'll see. Tomorrow's practice report will tell you. I would look, if you have Juju Smith, he's probably in your IR spot, even though he's questionable right now, so you might have to move him out. I would be trying not to have him on my roster just because who knows if he plays this week, and it's probably unlikely.
Yeah.
And they get Denver next week, so that's not fun. Anyways, don't worry about Juju. He's probably not playing. Look for the reports through the week. But it's a Monday night game. You probably are not going to be trying to depend on him playing Monday night for you. It's a bad
exactly.
Idea. That does it for this matchup. Kareem Hunt, plug and play until we get Isaiah Pacheco. Kareem Hunt, automatic plug and play every week. It'll get a little bit murky when Pacheco gets back, but we'll have to wait and see how that unfolds. That'll do it for this episode. That was 8 matchups. There's 2 teams on bye. I think it's the Steelers and do you know the other one?
The Niners.
Niners are on bye. That's right. So we had 15 matchups this week. No Monday night doubleheader, which I don't know if I'm happy about or sad about.
I'm happy about.
No, you don't like the doubleheader Monday night?
I don't, because I got to flip-flop between channels. And
not only that, too many players, man. I'm so nervous. I have like 4 players playing Monday night, and like, if I'm like, oh, am I gonna lose? Or I'm playing against 2 players, and I'm like, bro, I'm up 30 points. Like, if I lose because of a Monday night game, I get pissed, man. I'd rather just know Sunday night.
Yeah,
Sunday afternoon games. Let me know if I've won or lost. I can about it. It's just so much easier.
Yeah.
But that'll do it for this episode. We'll see you guys next week on the Studs and Duds list. Hopefully, our sits of the week are on the Duds list, and our starts of the week are on the Studs list.
Yeah.
We will see how accurate MFV is, and if we need to go to Vegas next week.
Exactly. I'm trying. I feel like we're gonna be accurate too, man.
Hey, man. The thing is, with the crazier takes, it's harder to like. I mean, if he really hits with the crazy takes, the Jonathan Taylor.
That's what I'm saying. Like one of his starts of the week was Aaron Jones. Like, come on, Indianapolis Colts, Aaron Jones. Like,
we're only talking about the
crazy ones.
Yeah,
exactly.
The crazy ones hit. Like I said, if those hit, you will catch me, BBTB, and MFB in Vegas the following week. Going dumb. Feel me? All right, guys. That'll do it for this episode. Listen in for the Studs and Duds. week 9 on the next episode. We'll see you guys. Peace.
Yes. Peace.